Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Are you a small business owner who maybe you might be heading for trouble and you don't really know it? Today we're going to talk about business mistakes that small business owners make. I have actually been in the small business arena for 30 years. I actually started my first business when I was 19 years old, and that was after growing up in a household of drug addicts, alcoholics, and violent abusers. I was not the kid that was ever going to become an entrepreneur. It literally was, an accident, if you will, a collision, I suppose. It wasn't something that I set out to do. I wasn't that person who was outgoing. I was not that person who thought I could become successful. I was a loner all the way through school. I was very hardworking, no question, and I really had a deep desire to not end up like my family. I wanted nothing to do with the drugs that were involved in my childhood, and I wanted nothing to do with all the violence that was involved in my childhood. And my family fought a lot about money. And so I thought that if I made good money, then I wouldn't have the same problems that my mom and the man who raised me did. I thought maybe that was the real problem inside their relationship, and it turns out it was not at all the problem. So with myself and all of my ignorance as a young person, I started in business, not because I thought I could succeed, but seriously because I knew I could fail. And I got started. I actually quit my job. I had a great job working for JCPenney's, and I was making pretty good money, especially as a 19-year-old. And for some reason, I don't know why, I thought, well, I've started in business. Now all of a sudden, customers are supposed to just come out of the woodwork, and the right kind of people to help me deliver the product to the end user is just supposed to it's supposed to fall out of the sky somehow. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it was torture. It was absolute torture. My first 6 months, I was living off of my credit cards, everything, buying food, paying for my rent, car payment, everything came off of my credit cards. And I remember sinking further and further into debt. And then every single day that I would head off to work my business at my office, I would be like, oh my gosh, am I going to fail again today? Am I going to be able to at least get one sale? Can I at least make $100 today? And I remember day after day after day, it just was not happening. Now, that went on for 6 months. Then I got introduced to a training seminar that was supposed to change it all. And honestly, I didn't have the money to invest in that training. I did not have the time to be able to leave a business that wasn't already succeeding. I felt like, man, if I miss a day, that might be the day that I actually made a sale. It was the actual one day that actually something happened. And I kept waiting for that big thing to happen, right? Have you ever done that? Where you're just holding on, but somehow some big thing's going to happen for me. The big thing never happened. But what the big thing that was in front of me was an opportunity where I could learn new skills. Do you know that according to Dun & Bradstreet, 90% of all business failures are due to a lack of skill by the owner? What? Yeah, it's the owner's fault as to why the business has failed. That's according to Dun & Bradstreet. Okay, also, 50% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. Within the first 5 years, 50% of all brand new businesses are going to fail. So you got a 1 out of 2 shot here, friend. But 90% of all business failures are due to a lack of knowledge and skill by the owner. You see, your current skill is going to take you to where you are right now. But if you want to grow your income, you've got to grow your skill. And so here was this big, huge opportunity that was in front of me that I did not see as a big, huge opportunity that was in front of me. All I saw was money to pay out, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And not only that, I didn't have a lot of confidence in my ability to learn. And I also was that type of person that I hated being in groups. I didn't like being around groups of people. I was that kid that, didn't go to parties. And if somehow I ended up, for example, the man who actually introduced me to the whole business world, he was that super outgoing guy that everyone liked to be around. We were dating at the time, and he would take me to some of these parties that he and his friends were having, and I would find a room upstairs to hide in, just to get away from. I didn't like being around groups of people. So here, training was going to require me to spend money that I didn't have, time, which I didn't want to pull any time away from a business that was failing, and 3, in large groups. Thank God I went, friend. Thank God I went. Because I gained skills. And most importantly, I gained a totally different mindset about people. I gained a different mindset about business. I gained a totally different mindset about money. And oh my gosh, it was so powerful for me that I went back 4 weeks later. And I started to watch how my mind started to see things differently. And I started to see people differently. I started to see excuses differently. I started to deal with my own excuses in that environment. And because now I was hanging out with people who were succeeding, that started to rub off on me. And I started to walk like they walk, talk like they talk, see things the way they did, getting interested in what they were interested in. So if you're in that place right now where your small business is not where you want it to be, I want you to maybe look down this quick checklist. Because there are reasons. In fact, I've made list after list after list of the reasons why I failed in the very beginning. There's also been studies that have been done on why small businesses fail. And again, it's a lack of skill by the owner. So one is that you don't set time, like hours that are hours of operation, especially if you're an entrepreneur that works from home. So the time slips away from you. Either you're starting later than you should and you're working later than you should. So you don't have solid set committed hours. And when you don't have solid set committed hours, well, then, your clients don't know how to find you. They don't know when to find you. Your hours are super sporadic. And this is something else I've watched, especially with real estate agents who, again, are a small business owner. They're independent reps, repping real estate. And so what I've watched them do is they say, oh, I'm available 24/7. I'm available anytime. Here's my card. You can call, text me anytime. There's no respect for yourself, no respect for business, and no respect for others. And it shows that you're really too easily accessible. And that does not show value to people at all. So you got to have some good, solid hours set. You need to work within those parameters. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself ragged and everyone that's around you ragged. And not only that, but you're going to set up a precedence for your customers that you cannot sustain. You can't keep up that kind of work in that kind of workflow without burning yourself out and burning out your spouse, your kids, and everyone else that is around you. 2, failing to prioritize. Wow, I cannot tell you how important this one is. Yeah, failing to prioritize. You see, my first 6 months of business, my priority was learning about the product. Like I spent a lot of time in research about that. And I spent time like learning things that were not necessary, gaining knowledge that did not result in skill. So I kind of became that person who like, I don't know, I would be a knowledge dump, almost like an encyclopedia about my product. And to be honest with you, the more I talked about my product, the more people didn't want anything to do with it. And so I watch a lot of rookie entrepreneurs, especially those that I work with at First Steps to Success, that the reason why they come to us is because they want to grow their business and they're discovering like, oh. So listen, there's this fallacy out there, and it's a cultural one where it says, the more you know, the more you got to show that knowledge to everybody, and people will be attracted to you by your knowledge. People are not attracted to you by your knowledge. They're attracted to you by your results. Your results attract people, not your knowledge. The result that you can produce for other people. Why? Because people inherently are selfish, and they want the result. They don't want the knowledge. They want the result that the knowledge is going to produce. So failing to prioritize. So in my case, I spent time on things that didn't make money. Maybe that's what you're doing. Are you spending time on things that will not result in that sale, that will not result in bringing on the right talent in your organization? Are you getting all caught up with everything else that does not produce the results? So what changed for me is I started focusing on results. When you focus on results and getting results on a daily basis, friend, this is when you start to make money. And also, if you're focusing on results and you're not getting them, then there's something that has to change. There's a skill you have to learn. And if you don't learn the skill, you're not going to get the cash. Getting caught up in the hype and the promise of financial independence. Again, focusing on something that does not produce an income. And people love, especially small business owners, especially first timers, they love to like dream about what the future is going to look like. And by the way, this is exactly what I did in my first 6 months. In fact, the person I was following, my boyfriend at the time, who like we literally would sit around and like dream about and talk about what we're going to do when we start making $100,000 a year, or if we were to become millionaires, like what we would do with it, what our life would look like, like the whole dream board thing, the whole fantasy thing. Did you get a sale today? Nope. You know what I mean? Did you recruit some good talent today? Nope. Why? Because you get all caught up in the hype of what you will do once you're free, what you will be like when you get there. No, there is something you need to be right here, right now, and that is a highly skilled professional who is producing results. Listen, bottom line is this. You can become successful. Just because you start a business doesn't mean that you will become successful. Obviously, 90% of all business failures is due to a lack of skill, right? And I have to be honest with you, it really upset me greatly because there's not too many places where you can actually get skill. You can't go to college and get a business degree and get skill. No, when you go to college, you get knowledge about businesses. They don't develop your skill set in what it actually takes to build that business, right? So what places can you go to? I mean, do you have access to a multimillionaire who has a very successful track record of successful businesses for 30 years and will they give you their time? Like, can you just hey, knock on the door. Hey, listen, I really admire your business. Would there be any way I could have some time with you? Can I shadow you? Can I watch you at work? Can I watch you in action? Can I pick your brain? Friend, that just doesn't happen, right? A successful millionaire is building their business, they're living their life, or maybe they're at that point in their life where they're just enjoying the fruit of their labor for all those years. And if they're going to spend time with anyone, it would be with their family. It's certainly not going to be with you, right? Of course. So where can you actually go to learn? And watch, by the way, according to some studies that have been done, listening to the wrong people and investing in bad training is another cause for failure among small business owners. Come on, friend. You and I both have seen it online, right? In fact, there is this entire marketing company that their entire business model is set around telling everyone they are experts. Telling every person on the planet, you're an expert and you're an expert at something. And now we're going to teach you, and his training model is to teach you how to look like an expert, even though you're not. What determines an expert? Your results. Your results determines whether or not you're an expert. So now we are flooded all over social media today with people who are saying they're an expert at marketing. They're an expert in advertising. They're an expert at getting customers. They're an expert at building a list. They're an expert in social media. They're an expert on Instagram. They're an expert on Twitter. They're an expert on YouTube. They're an expert. They're an expert. They're an expert. They're an expert. And little do we know that just a month before they made that video, they're living at home still. They're 35, sleeping on mom's couch, hoping that you buy this I'm an expert story. There's a lot of bad training out there. What about all those free books, right? Look at it. Look at that. Okay, listen. Come on. It's every day, right? On social media, you are being pounded by all of these free book offers. And it's something that some yahoo who's not a writer, who doesn't have a successful track record, just decided to write on a topic. And now what they've learned to do is sell you something. They've learned to develop a path where you will follow them. And sadly, their training or their advice is the worst thing you could ever be listening to. It's just a big waste. The whole point is they just care about making money from you buying the book. The book has nothing in it that actually is going to change your life, that's actually going to teach you how to make money, is actually going to teach you how to make your business successful. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was a place where you could know that you know that you know that the information actually is real and that it actually produces results? So this is the thing you have to ask yourself, and this is where I had to come to in my life. Because after you see all this bogus seminars that are out there that are $10,000 for a weekend, $5,000 for a weekend, $25,000 for a weekend, and you walk out going, what did I actually get that I am actually going to be able to use and I'm going to be able to profit from? Would it be great if you could find that place? Wouldn't it be awesome that you know in your spirit, in your gut, in your heart of hearts, it's oh my gosh. This is what I've been looking for. This is exactly what I need. This hits every single thing that I've needed. Could you imagine? Well, that's exactly how Tracy Maccaro felt. She was overweight. She had both personal and business debt. She had a failing marriage. She was totally disgusted with the person that she saw in the mirror. But she found that place. And she lost her weight. She paid off more than $400,000 worth of debt and increased her business of gift shops by 30% in a bad economy. She fell back in love with her husband through the skills that she learned in this particular place. Her and her husband are more in love today, and they've been married now for 17 years. That's Tracy Maccaro. People like Mariah McDonald. She said, I went from being broken in debt to $500,000 in our first year and looking towards $1 million and franchising in our second year. I owe it all to this particular training. I could tell you stories for hours. In fact, they're all written right here. Page after page after page of people who found that place. People who found that training that actually produces results. So you need to be the judge. Stop getting caught up in all of the hype that you're seeing out there. Start to learn how to prioritize your time wisely for business. Stop being available to anyone all the time. Stop getting caught up in the dream and start working to make the dream happen. And you must find a place that you know based on results, not hype, based on results, not a good sales pitch. There's a lot of people out there that know how to sell, but what they're selling is nothing but bunk. In fact, there's a good chance that your library is filled with bunk, meaning in your house, your bookshelf of all the free books that you've gotten a hold of that you've not read, or you've read some of them and you're like, this is crap. There's nothing in here that's any good. That won't happen with this. First Steps to Wealth. Hundreds of thousands have had it, and thousands and thousands and thousands have applied it and have produced results. And they've written us about their results. In fact, this book is covered with stories of people who started with nothing, who started with failing in every area, and they learned the step-by-step skills that took this former homeless, broke cocktail waitress to becoming a millionaire for the first time. Today, I'm a multimillionaire, and 100% of all the profits that we make from this business goes straight to taking care of the extreme poor, like freeing kids out of the sex trade, feeding thousands of orphans. In fact, we have fed over 60,000 orphans. We've built over 1,000 homes for the extreme poor. I do not take a salary from my business, so if you're thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to get this book and it's just going to make that chick more money. Sorry, friend. Nope, it's going to make you money. It's going to make you money. So are you ready to stop failing as a small business owner, or stop living in that place where you're stuck in that rut and it's just not going fast enough? Get your copy right now of First Steps to Wealth. Go to firststepstowealth.com. Again, that firststepstowealth.com. Get your free copy today. You pay the shipping to get it to your house. I'll pay the $15 for the book. That's more than a fair deal. Do not be a cheapskate. You can pay shipping and handling. I'll pay for the book. But what's more important is read the darn thing. Read it. What's more important than reading it? Apply it. Apply it, and I guarantee you, you're going to produce the results just as the results that are inside that book, just like the results that hundreds of thousands of people have been writing us since they've been coming in contact with this training. You need this. And by the way, if you're like, I hate to read, dude, I understand, especially if it's a boring book, which this is not a boring book. But I will tell you, in fact, we've had people write us telling us that they couldn't put it down and they read it in 2 days. That's how powerful this content is and how applicable it is. You're going to find solutions to a problem you're having right now. So if you go to firststepstowealth.com, get your copy, and there is a way that you can get the audio version of the book. Yes, it comes in an audio book. Once you go to that page, just give us your information where you want the book sent, and then you'll have the option to be able to listen to the audio book. All right, so listen. You don't have to fail anymore. You can succeed. If I can learn the specific skills that I needed, so can you. You're probably much smarter than I am. And maybe me being dumb helped me, that I knew I needed help. I knew I needed to make changes, and I knew I needed skill, and I knew I had to invest into it even though I didn't have the money. So you got money for shipping and handling. You got money for an audio book. Let's make it happen. Let's join forces together and let you prove to yourself that you got this and you can succeed, that you actually can make more than you ever thought that you could. All right, that's it for us. I'm Dani Johnson. I'm looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.